Alright guys, so brand new game day with LEGO Horizon Adventures. As you can see on screen, we have proper frame rate graphs. So now we're going to be able to dive into all the proper, frame rate testing of different games, different systems, which is going to be really, really fun to do on this channel. But it's a new game. This game is very, very nice looking on PlayStation 5 Pro. There is no patch for this game, I want to say, but at the end of the day, it's worth testing at launch because I like to see how games perform day one because a lot of people are going to be playing these games day one. So anyway, let's get into proper performance testing and seeing what the visuals look like on this game. Right, so let's get into the frame rate graph testing, starting off with performance mode. Okay, so starting off with the performance mode. Now, I do want to say this is my first time doing frame rate testing. I am still adjusting to this stuff, but this game, at least from impressions, which is what matters, is a locked 60. Now, you see some little dips here and there, like in obviously the cutscenes when it's loading up something different, but there's very, very minor dips that you absolutely do not feel on a VRR display. Now, I do want to add this game is absolutely by no means patched, but at the end of the day, it's a perfectly flawless game. It feels absolutely fine. These drops here that you're seeing on screen, there's a couple of like frame time jumps. Obviously, in cutscenes, it drops a long way, but nothing is actually, you're not feeling any of this stuff when playing the game, particularly on a VRR display, because that's what I'm using. So actually, when I'm doing this testing, I'm just telling you that with a VR display, you do not feel any of this stuff, and I even turned VRR off to test this stuff, and again, with the frame time graphs here, I could not see any of these dips in person. So I don't know if that means the testing's wrong, which I don't think, because the testing's done accurately through software and it is showing what is on screen. I've captured raw, so in the end of the day, this should be spot on to what is actually happening, but I'm just saying what's more important is a user experience, and that is the watching from the TV, sat in front of it perspective, and I have to say it's been very, very, very clean. In a second, we will also go over to the quality mode, but as you saw there on screen, it dips there when you're sat in that seat for some reason. I don't know why at all. I again did this for the display and could not see a single difference in dropped frames or anything like that, but I have to say, testing doesn't lie. And as you can see, most of the time when you're playing though, it's a locked 60 with the occasional drop here and there, but other than that, it is absolutely flawless. So I'm very happy with the performance of this one. I think it's very, very clean, very, very nice, and I think in a second we'll go over to the quality mode. I just finished off these first little bits to see if we basically could pick up this barrel here and launch it at this thing, and as you can see, there is 0 frame drops when throwing the barrel to destroy anything at all, which I thought was interesting and a good test to see if we can push this thing a little bit harder. Now, cutscenes like that and little pop-ups, you have to expect some drops with little cutscene elements like that. So anyway, without further ado, let's go on to the quality mode testing here. Now, I do have to say that the quality mode unfortunately does run at 30 frames per second on all systems, so there's again no patch for this title as of day one, which is a shame, but in the end of the day, this is what you can expect from the quality mode, and pretty much all in all, it is an absolute locked 30 with basically no movement. It didn't feel nice to play after testing the performance mode, but in the end of the day, it's what you expect. Hopefully with a patch, potentially we could see some more like stabilization for PS5 Pro, or like a 40 frame mode or an unlocked mode would be even better, so we could actually test the quality and performance mode. But in a second, we'll actually take a look at the proper image quality to see if there actually is any difference between the performance mode and the quality mode, and we'll just have a little zoom in certain areas and just play side-by-side footage to see if you can actually see any difference at all, because I don't think there is. From actually looking at the TV and the display, there doesn't seem to be any difference between the two modes, which is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing, but also kind of a good thing. And in the end of the day, what's important, as I always say in my videos, is seeing what from the TV perspective is actually counting, not necessarily frames all the time. It's what you get from a VRR display, which is what you should absolutely have with a PlayStation 5 Pro. I could test this game on the base PlayStation 5 as well if PS people are interested. I can imagine it's going to run basically the same, because I think this game is just capping out at a max of 60 and 30 in these different modes. So I really don't think we're going to see much movement there at all. Everything is basically locked 30 and locked 60 without a tiny margin of error of performance testing problems that you may see. There's a couple of like frame time spikes just to note as well on the quality mode, but at the end of the day, it's probably within margin of error. You got to remember when testing this stuff, I'm looking at the software and there are always little things that could be changed. But what we'll do after this last bit of testing here, where you can see frame rate and everything, we will go into actually comparing differences between the visuals, and let's get into that. Okay, so we're here talking about the actual visual quality of the game. So let's have a look between side by sides. On the right, we've got the quality mode, and on the left, of course, is the performance mode. So these are the two visual differences. I've tried to match up similar runs at a similar time. It's very hard to do it exactly right, so props to everybody who does like Digital Foundry and gets everything spot on pretty much next to each other. But these are the two options. The quality difference really is not there, in my opinion, to warrant going to quality mode and dropping half the frame rate. Right, it's just not worth doing. So in my opinion, absolutely stick to the very nice performance mode. This game looks absolutely gorgeous and detailed in the performance mode. So yeah, in my opinion, I think that's the way to go, right? Always. To be honest, even if this game in quality mode had like full RT and stuff like that, I would still say to play in performance mode. Now, of course, it's up to you and your choice and what you kind of prefer, but at the end of the day, to me, it's all about performance in these games, especially on a pro console. I do want to reiterate again, there is currently no pro patch for this game. This game is purely just running on a PlayStation 5 Pro, so you guys can see. If there is a patch for this game, I will of course go back and redo this entire video again, and we will add whatever's necessary and do comparisons from pre-patch and then after patch, which would actually be really interesting and kind of fun to do. So that's one I hope does get patched. Also, I would like to just say quickly before we kind of round off this video with the footage, it would be really, really great if you guys could subscribe and also like if you are enjoying these types of videos. I'm going to be doing more detailed comparisons, so I hope that's cool with you. I'd also like it if you could let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see, if there's any games you would like to see tested on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now we have better testing tools, because I'm always interested to do as good as I can of a job to get things out there for you guys so you can see what to expect on a lot of these games going forward into new versions, new modes, etc. So yeah, let's round off the video. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this one. There's nothing more to discuss here really. The game looks absolutely stunning on PlayStation 5 Pro. I imagine it's going to look the exact same on the base PlayStation 5, but we're just testing it on the Pro because it's the new console out and it's worth checking it out. But let me know what videos you want to see from me going forward. There's plenty more I can test, plenty more I've got coming in the pipeline, so make sure you subscribe for all those tests and stuff. We can do some comparisons now between the base PS5 and PlayStation 5 Pro in similar areas and games, which will be really fun to do. So let me know what you guys want to see going forward. But this is the new kind of stuff we're going to be doing on the channel. We've got more advanced features. Finally, they've been figured out thanks to people online helping me with lots of different stuff. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe if you are new to the channel, and I will see you in future videos. Bye bye for now.